All right, my computer says it's 11, so we're going to go with that. I am going to go ahead and share the agenda so that we can start kind of working down the list of things. So last month we talked about creating a recommendation for a time frame for building other MEC libraries. So this is what the committee has come up with, or what we kind of talked through, but I wanted to give one more chance for anybody else to comment, or if you see something that needs to be added, taken out, you don't like it, whatever. One more chance for people to comment on this before we took it to the executive board. So I'm just going to open that up. Anybody can say what they think.
I missed it. What did I miss? Darn it.
Hi, Terry. I just put up the recommendation that the committee had worked on, kind of away from this meeting, so that there could be any kind of comment before we went to the executive board with
Okay.
it. So I'm not hearing anything. I don't know. Let me just ask this. Just yay or nay, does everybody think it makes sense as written? Everybody understands there's no ambiguity in what we're talking about?
It sounds good to me.
Love it, Rhonda.
Okay, I see a couple of people saying okay. So as soon as I share my screen, I can't see all of you anymore. So anyway, all right, well then, if we're all in agreement, what we're going to do is take it to the executive board at the next executive board meeting. And actually, I may forward it on to them ahead of time, because we postponed our next executive board meeting so that we're meeting on when we're at the users conference. And so if they want us to go ahead and present it at the users conference, they'll need to have looked at it beforehand. So that may go to them a little bit before that. So moving on, Equinox has identified a bug causing lost fees on somebody's account to not be removed when an item that is marked lost, so it's in lost status, and it comes back in, and then you want to mark it missing pieces or damaged. So this does, to some degree, depend upon the settings of the owning library. Some libraries do not void those lost fees when things move into a different status, or when something comes back in. So it is a known bug. That's the link to the bug. Basically, pretty much, if it's not your item, it's a good idea to go in there and check in. If your library wants those fees voided, it's a good idea to go in and double check that they did get voided. Or what will happen is your patron will come in and say, I returned that. You'll look in the catalog, and lo and behold, it's checked out to somebody else, or it's in transit or on hold or something. And the fine is still, lost fee is still on there. So if your library voids those fees when things come back or they move into a different status, check the patron's account to make sure it really did get taken off. And if necessary, do whatever your library, forgive whatever you do in that situation.
So Rhonda, if something has in lost status, does this only apply if it comes in, you don't check it in, and instead you change the status to damaged?
Right.
So if you check it in, though,
if you check it in,
it should make, well, unless the library has a setting that says if it's
See,
been lost for 30 days, the bill
problem.
doesn't.
Then
you mark it damaged, and the patron gets charged for it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So checking it in usually fixes it, but not always, because it's determined by the owning library's policies on that lost and damaged fees are controlled by the owning library. If it belongs to somebody else, it may or may not. So for me, in the interest of just, I like to make my patrons happy, not have to have them come back and say, well, look, I turned this in and then you have to go hunt and you know the drill. I would love it to where, to me, I've seen kind of the conversation in the bug, when you go in and mark that bug, you can kind of see the conversation of what the Equinox people are talking about. Some are saying, okay, no, this is not a big deal. You just check things in and go on. And others are saying, no, this is a status issue. And a status issue should, if you change from one status to another, it should do it correctly with all the things associated with it. So I don't know if anything will come of it, but I just thought it's happened to us at Cass County. It seems like more and more frequently. And so every week I've got 2 or 3 staff members from various branches saying, what do I do with this? Well, all right. So I'm just passing on what has happened here so that you can adjust if you want to. Okay. This week, was it this week or last week for running reports in Equinox? Everything just kind of came to a standstill. So we're like, okay, was I the one, did my report have something wrong with it? Did it goof up the system? What happened? And so upon some investigation, we learned that Equinox can run 2 reports concurrently. And it just it goes in, I would imagine it goes into the pipeline in the order that you send it in, and it's going to run 2 at a time. So depending on if your report is a really big report, it could be slowing things down for other people. So I have no idea. My thought on this is, can we appeal to Equinox to increase that capacity? I don't know if that's possible, but the larger we get, it seems like the more reports are going to be run, and we're going to keep having these collisions of, so Tony suggested, well, he runs big reports overnight, but if everybody starts running big reports overnight, I don't know if that will work either. So again, I think this is a conversation to have with the executive board too. And I don't know if maybe me calling Equinox and talking to them as the CERC chairman would hold some weight, but I think if the executive board was on board with it, it might hold more weight. I'm not sure. Personally, I would like that number to be larger than 2, especially when the big St. Louis group comes in. Boom, that's 9 more libraries running the same reports that we're going to be running. So this is just more for your information than, I can't fix it at this point, but more so that everybody is aware and realizes if things are taking a while, what's probably happening is multiple reports are in the queue and it's just working its way through.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I was the one that jacked it all up, so there's that.
It just happened when you were doing it.
Well, right, because and what's the definition of a big report? And I know since all that happened, Steve Callender has extended the time to run a report from 2 hours to 3 hours, so they don't fail. So that has helped with the time frame. But as far as, and I had talked to Tony as well, saying yes, he runs them overnight, and I still don't have a good definition of what's a big report, because I was running 1 library, 1 shelving location. So, I mean, I don't know. And I've run reports, well, for almost a year now and never had this happen. So it was just a bad timing thing, I guess. everything kind of lined up to maybe cause this. So, but I didn't know there was a limit of 2, and, I just schedule them and go about my business and wait for them to come through. So anyway, I know that they know there's a problem, and I did mention about the, 9 libraries coming on, and the infrastructure better be able to handle more activity, because, it's gonna happen. So I think they're aware of it and working on it, and, so, but in the meantime, can schedule things to run, during the night, and, he's increased the time frame before it fails. So that's all I got. So sorry to anyone that, but I mean, in a way, I'm glad I found out, so I can kind of better watch and wait for one report to be done before scheduling another one too.
Well, and even if, I just like to know why something is taking longer. It's like, if it takes that long, it takes that long, but I kind of like to know why something is happening. And so I just figure it doesn't hurt to ask if they can increase it. The worst they can do is say no, and we're no worse off than what we already are. And lots of times my reports just go through really smoothly and no big deal. So anyway, more for your information.
I have a quick question, Rhonda, if you
Yeah.
don't mind. Do you think it would be possible for them to give us some kind of metric of when high traffic times are, at least if it's not something that's fixable?
Well, it does, again, I don't think it hurts to ask. You would think, certain your library runs certain reports on certain timeframes, so, I mean, I would imagine beginning of the month, end of the month is probably gonna be, a little more crazy, but, it doesn't hurt to ask. I'm writing here, so that's why I'm. You would think I could remember these things for like half an hour. That would be incorrect. So,
I
okay,
wouldn't expect that.
yeah. All right, so one thing I forgot to put on this agenda, and Diane is on here, she noticed that if your library groups accounts, so you've got a patron group, Equinox has added, when they did the last update, they have added the ability to view all the members' expiration dates at the same time. Diane, could you speak to that? Is it a column that you add, or how do you actually see that? She must have stepped away. I don't know.
Rhonda, while she's out, I'm fairly certain it's just a column that you add in that column picker that now you can see the expiration dates. I'm so excited about this because we group patrons, so.
Well, because then you can see, little Joey's card is going to expire next month. I'm here now. Can we just go ahead and do it? I can imagine it would
Exactly.
streamline things quite a bit if you do.
Mhm.
So that would just be going to that little column picker, go down. Do you know what it's called by chance? What the
I
exact?
I can pull it up, but
We
I
don't
do think
group,
it's just your
so.
patron expiration, but let me pull it up to double check. I'll come back to you. So keep going and I'll
Okay,
interrupt.
okay. Cass County doesn't group, and so I didn't really look into it too much, but if you do group, I think that would be a great thing to just add on to your column there. Okay, old business. So I put out the whole thing here, for everybody to read. We have gone through and done a, evaluation, I guess, of who has been attending that we know of. There probably are libraries that have attended in one of these alternative ways. It doesn't work for them maybe on the day that we are meeting. So we are asking if you do one of those alternative type things where you go, and I'm so sorry, you would have to watch me on the YouTube. So sorry. If you go and listen to the YouTube recording of the meeting. Go to the CERC training page on the website and read through the minutes. If your library is doing that and just not being able to attend in person or, like on Zoom, go ahead and shoot me an email so that I can credit your library as having attended those meetings. That's why it's so important every time that we start. I'm always saying over and over again, put your name in, put your library in so that you get credit for attending. So I'm adding this in here so that everybody's aware. There probably will be some libraries that are notified that they are not in compliance with this policy. It's an easy fix. We're not going to kick you out if you're not. It's not like that. But we're getting so big, which is great. But things change, and we are trying to keep you aware of what is changing in the whole CERC realm. So if you, and even if you want to retro and say, I've been to every one of them in the last year, that would be fine with me. It's an easy fix for me to go in there and mark that you've attended. And we're going to take it on faith that if you email me, you really did attend. All right, going on down. West Plains is going live Thursday, 2 days from today. Tuesdays, I come in late, so I always try and get in a little bit early for this meeting. I don't have to be here till 11. And so,
Sister.
okay, somebody needs
They
to
bring me
be
this from
there.
the front desk. Patron left this for you, and I'm like, ah, sweets. It's a freaking egg.
They can't hear me, but I can hear. I don't know who it is.
I mean, I'll eat it, but.
I thought it was some kind of a cupcake or something, or like.
Can
Okay,
anybody
yeah.
else tell? I don't have my screen. Okay, well, there we go. All right, so I came in this morning a few minutes early to get ready for the Zoom and saw the thread going back and forth. Apparently, there's been a few glitches in the holds system for West Plains. And so some items have already been targeted to send to West Plains, but they are not starting their resource sharing until mid-April. So if you happen to have something come up as targeted to send to West Plains, just cancel that transit and don't send it. They're not ready yet. Rogan from Equinox is aware of it. They're trying to fix there's just a few holes, a few probably little settings that are letting a couple of these holds go on through. But so go ahead and cancel it. Steve had originally said to retarget, but that's just going to send it to somebody else and they'll have to do the same thing. So, I mean, I guess we could keep going around the loop until they started resource sharing, but just cancel that transit. And then when they're ready to start resource sharing, we'll be happy to send it on to them. Usually there's some kind of message that goes out when that is becomes official. All right. The users conference is coming. It is April 11th through the 12th in Columbia at the Moornet offices where it was last year. There will be Zoom options, but you need to get signed up so that you have all the links that you need to attend remotely. So it would be my hope that we see you there. It was fun last year, kind of putting a face to a lot of people that I had talked with, but didn't really know at all. And so if there's any way that you could make it to part of the conference, that would be wonderful. If not, I guess we'll see you on Zoom or you'll see us on Zoom. Moving on, we are going to need a new circulation committee member because, heavy sigh, Diane is retiring. So while we're so happy for her that she is going to get to have free time to do things with her grandkids. I don't even know what all she's planning. In the interim, in the meantime, we have space for another committee member. So if you are on this call and you are at all interested in joining us, shoot me an email or call me, either way. And we'll talk about it so that you know kind of what the expectations are. Sometimes we're really busy, sometimes we're not so busy. So there's not a way to predict that, but I would be able to talk through with you what would be involved in doing this. So, and you know, especially if you are from a smaller library, I would love to see, I know it's maybe a little bit harder because you don't have as many staff to share the load. And so a lot more of it falls on fewer people. But I would love to have perhaps a smaller library represented so that we maintain, you know, small library things are not overlooked by people who are in a large library, and they're dealing with those kinds of issues. I'd like to have a broad variety. That being said, it does not have to be, you do not have to be from a small library to fill this position. So anyway, if you are interested, be sure to let me know. I would love it. So I don't know. I can't see the whole list of who is here. Oh, there she is. I see Diane there. So I wanted to give people from the CERC community a little bit of a chance to express our appreciation to Diane. And so I'm just going to open it up. I've got things to say, but I've already been talking, so I'm going to let other people go first. So
I would love to go first.
go for it.
I could not appreciate anyone more than Diane Disbrow. Everything positive that's come from Evergreen for me has come from her supporting me, answering my ridiculously ignorant questions. I mean, always there. It doesn't matter what time of day, I will shoot out some crazy question to her and she answers. She's a wealth of information and generosity, really. I think it takes a lot. She's going to be greatly missed by me personally. We've only met in person, I think, twice, but I feel like, you know, we're kindred spirits to me. I feel that way about her. I just really love her a lot, but she really has given a beautiful face to Evergreen and such a positive thing. She knows so much and she shares it all with everyone. So I will miss you, Diane.
I see something in the chat from Cheryl at Wright County. Okay, I know there's more of you.
I'll say something really quickly. Dan, you probably don't even know it, but in a weird way, you've sort of been a mentor to us. I don't know that I think we've only met in person one time, and that was way back when I first started the library. We went to an Evergreen conference and you were there, and I actually sat in one of your seminars and I was like, holy cow, this lady's amazing. But I just want to say a big thank you because we all know you do know it all and you do share it. I think you've really made this a welcoming space for everybody. And you've made it kind of a safe space for everybody too, because you've sort of been our safety net, you know. So thank you, and we're gonna miss you.
I see Shannon. Did you come to talk to Diane?
I just wanted to say I'm going to miss you so terribly much, Diane, and thank you for the times that you have saved me over and over and over again. anytime that I needed an answer to any question, Diane was there and she had a thorough question and an accurate question, a thorough answer and an accurate answer. And that doesn't always happen. It's sometimes that's a rare find. So thank you so much, Diane. I hope you have a great retirement full of grandbabies and beach and sun and all the great travel, all the great things that you want to do.
Diane, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for your kind words, and I'm very glad to hear that I guess that I reached my goal. My goal was to make everyone feel welcome in Missouri Evergreen and not anybody to suffer in silence. That's what I've always said. Just ask and someone will help you figure out how to do things so your work life is not a misery. I have enjoyed working with everyone so much. Different people all throughout the state. We're all doing the same thing. We all have the same goal of serving our patrons and making the job fun for our staff. And that's what everybody is on board with doing, is everybody's having the same goal at all these places across the state. And it's been really great working with all of you. And I will miss this part. Some parts of my job I'm not going to miss so much, but working with all the wonderful Missouri Evergreen Consortium people, I will miss that.
Diane.
Yes, ma'am. Janice.
Yes. Hey, I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you. You took me in and I went out to visit you. You showed me so much and encouraged me as we came on to Evergreen, and took me and had a wonderful lunch. And you have responded to every email I ever sent. And if you didn't have the answer, you got it for me. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I wish you well.
And there are a few more days if you want to apply to be the circulation coordinator at Scenic Regional Library. We had to extend the deadline to March 29th. And the email that I sent out about that a couple of weeks ago was to try to let anybody think if they had to be a go-to Missouri Evergreen person. That's not what this position is. It's to be the Scenic Regional Library circulation coordinator.
Well, I, for one, am going to miss you incredibly. It's going to make me cry. You've been the one that I've been able to call at 8 in the morning when I didn't know how to do this, what should be on the agenda. Will you talk about this? Will you talk about this? Am I thinking about this right? All of those things you have been to me, and I'm just so appreciative to you. I'm jealous that you're going to have all this free time and be able to do all the things that you kind of have to put off when you're working full time. But oh my gosh, I'm going to miss you so much. Sorry. I knew I would cry. I couldn't not.
Thank you. Thank you.
So another good reason to come to the users conference, because she'll be there and she's presenting. So
yes, we're going to talk about the transit list. I thought if there's one more thing I'd like to talk about, transit list, hopeless holds, and adding specific permissions to a staff member.
What's your actual last day?
April 17th. So see, the conference is the week before.
There you go.
I'll come back and I'll work 3 days, and then the week later I'm taking off on a 2-week trip over in England and Scotland.
Wonderful.
And when I get back, I won't have to get up in the morning and be anywhere at a specific time unless it's
Unless you want
something
to.
yeah, unless I want to, unless it's something that's not 40 hours a week.
Sorry, I'm in a meeting.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
I
wonderful.
can't hear me.
Okay. Anybody else? Diane, I'll probably have to send you a transcript of the chat because some people have been putting their comments and sending love to you via that one.
Yes, I see all those kind statements. That's just really wonderful.
I know, it's making me sad. So, is there anything else, now that we're all sad that Diane, sad and jealous at the same time, is there anything else that anybody would like to bring before the CERC committee? Okay. Well, in that case, we will see you possibly at the users conference. If so, that'd be great. If you can click on Zoom, that would be wonderful. If not, it'll be the next CERC committee meeting. So anyway, have a wonderful day. Thank you again, Diane. We love you and appreciate you so much. So everybody,
Thank you, Rhonda.
bye-bye.
Yes, thank you, Rhonda.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.